It doesn't care. Advertising Age just did a piece on this a couple of months ago, actually getting even more deeply into it and interviewing 18 to 29-year-olds. It really doesn't. And in fact, we were talking to the U.S. Olympics Committee about this very issue. How do you build patriotism among young people so they'll watch the Olympics? And the answer is you don't. What you do is you build up the Olympics and the sense that it's a global competition that America's a part of. If you're going to try to sell to young people, then don't sell them on patriotism. It doesn't work. You know, Chevy tried to sell trucks by "This is my country." It bombed with the Chevy Silverado. Just bombed.
Here's another one. The expression, "my country, right or wrong." We grew up with that in the Vietnam era. Do you not support the concept of "my country, right or wrong"? Among 18 to 27, 63 disagree with that concept. When you get to the 42 to 80 group, 43 agree with it. In other words, they disagree with the fact that it's something that they couldn't support. It's sort of inverted in concept, but you get the picture here. 18 to 27 are not going to buy that "my country, right or wrong" thing. And similarly, in other questions you ask about America as a superpower imposing itself, behaving unilaterally, younger people much less opposed to that, much more opposed to that. Older people feeling, yes, why not? We have the strength, we ought to use it.
We did a series of detailed surveys for the Foreign Policy Association, and it was on a variety of questions. We've also done polls on immigration and so on. This is just a different generation. And while we're looking at 18 to 29-year-olds, what's really driving the 18 to 29-year-olds are with the subset of that group that have passports, 42% that have passports. And that was really 8 or 9 months ago. The number is even growing.
We got a screen on passports, which I thought was interesting because not passports, but it's do they travel overseas? Have they traveled overseas? And this is it. If you travel overseas, have you traveled overseas 1 to 2 times or 3 to 5 times? 18 to 24 have traveled almost twice as often overseas as people 55 and older.
Yeah. And
is it that we've been indulgent with them, or that they just want to stretch out more? Or what would account for that?
The world is out there.
Yeah.
And they want to see it. I went to the dry cleaners the other day, and the young woman behind the counter, who's probably earning minimum wage, said, "Oh, I can't wait till this shuts down. I'm going to Trinidad for a week." I don't know how she affords it. I don't know how a lot of young people afford it. But there are ways of doing it, and that's what they want to do. And they don't want to visit relatives in Iowa. They want to see the world because it's there.
And that seeing the world and feeling a part of the world and feeling responsible for the world has helped create this transformation of the identity that we have today.
And it is. It's a tectonic shift that's taking place. And when I speak to groups, and you know that I'm out there all the time, I see people nodding their heads, particularly when it comes to their kids.
One last item, one last board I want to put up. It's a concept you've developed here: the secular spiritualists versus the traditional materialists, and the numbers here breaking out by age 2. Keep them up for a minute because I want John to define what a traditional materialist is and what a secular spiritualist, and you'll see that younger kids are more inclined towards spiritualism, older people more defined in terms of their value being acquisition of goods. Just define the terms better while we're looking at the screen.
Yeah, traditional materialists really represent the traditional American dream, which doesn't mean selfishness. It means the drive to acquire some material gain, whether for some it's wealth or for others it's a good life and a life in the suburbs. But it's a dominant theme. You can make the case that I think, especially among these first globals and among young people, that perhaps a lot of those needs have been taken care of, and they're moving on to the next phase, and that next phase is to live a genuine life and live a full life.
Could it also be this contraction issue of the economy and the fact that there's really no choice?
Well, when you talk to young people, they are worried They are indeed worried, but they're not consumed with their career. You know, that Nike generation, we remember it so well. They were going to college to get a good job. You don't hear that as much from young people. They're going to college now to expand their horizons.
Let's just shift gears now into the presidential contest and just take a look at that. In terms of this analysis, you have, as we've said, not just two distinct generations running, but two distinct definitions, authentic definitions of what it means to be an American running. John McCain, who is the patriot, the son of and the grandson of the admiral, and then the son of a Kenyan and a working class Kansan, who lived in Indonesia and worked his way through law school and then ended up working in community organizing among the unemployed. Two very different images, but both real. How do the demographic groups break out in terms of who finds that? I mean, Hillary Clinton ran on the basis of only I can win the white working class. Is the white working class the decisive element in this election, or are there other constituencies out there that we may not have paid attention to that you define in your book?
You know the answer because I've written about the answer. The white working class does not define this election. Let's do just some pure demographics. Number one, age. About 20% of the electorate is over 65, heavily with McCain, for a lot of reasons. About 20% of the electorate is 18 to 29, heavily with Barack Obama. Now, they're equal. If for some reason Obama is able to generate even more enthusiasm among young people, that they grow 1 percentage point, 2 percentage points, that is to his advantage. That's one aspect. Second aspect, the power of the Hispanic vote this year. Hispanics were 4% of 92 million voters in 1992. We project about 130 to 135 million voters in 2008, 10.5% of whom are Hispanic. We're talking about more than doubling the Hispanic vote between 1992 and 2008. It's heavily Democrat. It's heavily not Republican this year. However, Republicans have managed to nominate the best possible candidate to appeal to that growing Hispanic vote, taken the issue of immigration to a great degree off the table. But John McCain has got to win a significant share of that Hispanic vote, meaning 35, 38% of it.
Let's look at two boards from polling about this election. I want to close the discussion out there, if we could. This is John McCain, Barack Obama, head-to-head, 47 to 40. Someone else about 3, and not sure 10. Keep your eye on that 3 and 10 number, because when you put Bob Barr and Ralph Nader in the mix, Barack Obama goes down about 0.7. McCain goes down significantly. Nader and Barr pick up, and not sure stays about where it is, and other just drops 1 point. Is McCain losing those two, number one, to Barr and Nader? And the other is, in all the polling I've seen, Barack Obama never goes over high 40. John McCain never goes over 40, 41. Is that his ceiling? And is Obama's ceiling just about 50? Is this not an election where somebody gets 60% a sweep?
It could break that way.
We have about a minute left.
It could break that way in the end, break big like the 1980 election. But the important thing I think to watch about these numbers is that 10%. That's a high number for now. It's late July, 10% undecided. At this point in time, two well-known candidates. Also important to watch the Bob Barr factor. Those are conservatives. They've got to go home to McCain if he has any choice.
John Zogby, a great pollster about politics, but now a great pollster and understander of the American dream. And I think that this book is one worth getting. Take a look right now. Amazon, get it early, or get it August 12th when it comes out. John will be in a city near you talking about the book. It is important, I think, for all of us to understand who we are. Thanks, John, for helping us.